Over the years, goal celebrations in football have evolved so much. Every day, players are coming up with new ways to celebrate their goals, and the fans get drawn in by many interesting ones. But not all goal celebrations last forever. While there are some celebrations we said are overused in the sport just the other day, there are some which have been completely abandoned. It is those ones which fall into the latter category that we want to talk about today. These are 7 really cool celebrations we rarely see anymore. Let us start with multiple backflips. Back in the day, there were a lot of players who celebrated their goals by doing a lot of acrobatics. Romelu Lukaku, Obafemi Martins, Nani, and Julius Agahoa are some players who used to celebrate with multiple backflips or somersaults. Even Sergio Ramos used to do a somersault and backflip combo after he scored back then. But these days, we barely see that. Maybe the new generation of footballers are scared of injuries or just aren't as acrobatic as the older guys. Who knows? These days, the best we can get is one single flip from Aubameyang. Anything more than that, we rarely see them. But if you've recently seen a footballer celebrate with multiple backflips, feel free to point us to that direction in the comments so we can enjoy them as well. While you're there, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Up next is Fortnite celebrations. You guys remember some years back when the Fortnite craze took over football? To be fair, it took over the entire world. It was what was being talked about everywhere, so it wasn't much of a surprise when it seeped into football. Football players, both old and young, were pulling out Fortnite dances anytime they got the chance. Antoine Griezmann was the biggest fan of the Take the L dance from the famous game. He did it quite often and even took it to the World Cup back in 2018. Dele Alli loved the floss dance and often used it as his celebration, while Jesse Lingard took the hype emote to the World Cup. Players were just picking up different emotes and dances from this very famous game and using them to celebrate their goals. Football fans loved these dances because they were either really cool or really funny, or both. But we're sure those who are fans of both football and Fortnite enjoyed it the most. It must have felt like a heavenly crossover for them. But we no longer see players do Fortnite dances anymore. Now, since we're talking about dance moves, has anyone else noticed that we hardly see players celebrate goals with group choreography anymore? I mean, we already... Jesse Lingard gave us something close to a proper group choreography during his loan spell at West Ham, when he got Declan Rice and Pablo Fornals to imitate a band. Then, at the 2022 World Cup, we saw the Brazil boys pull off some group choreography celebrations in their emphatic win against South Korea. One of those celebrations even included the coach joining in to do Richarlison's dance. We definitely would love to see more of these celebrations. Hopefully, players start to bring them back. The closest thing we have to group choreography these days are Lamine Yamal and Alejandro Balde's dances, but it'll need more than 2 people to be classified as a group choreography, wouldn't it? What do you think? Anyway, one that absolutely nobody is doing anymore is the mannequin challenge. Yeah, it was a trend back in 2016 and it's old news, so we don't expect anybody to still be doing it now, but boy do we miss it. The mannequin challenge was always so interesting to watch. It took over the world back then and football made sure not to be left out of it. Jamie Vardy, Raheem Sterling and Theo Walcott did this together back then during a game for England and it went wild. In fact, just seeing that Walcott was still an active footballer back then shows you how old this was. Even Cristiano Ronaldo and the Portugal national team did this one in the dressing room, while Borussia Dortmund did it in the gym. There were just so many versions of the mannequin challenge flying around, and it certainly was so much fun watching players try to stay still and not move or even crack a smile. Can someone please bring it back, even if it's just for a few months? And you know what else we want to be brought back from that era? The dab! This is one of the coolest celebrations that has ever graced the game of football. The dab was a worldwide sensation, and as expected, a lot of players who were really into pop culture brought it into football. But of course, when you talk about the dab, one name comes to mind first: Paul Pogba. Absolutely nobody in football, and probably in all of sports, did the dab half as well or half as often as Paul Pogba. For some time it was his trademark celebration. He did it at Juventus, did it at Man United, and did it at France. He did it everywhere he went. He was just so in love with this simple celebration. But of course, it wasn't just him. Jesse Lingard, Serge Aurier, Paulo Dybala are some other players who also did the dab back then. It's a celebration we don't see anymore, but boy was it so cool. This was a celebration that fans used to highly anticipate and then do alongside the players. It really got the fans hyped every time. You know what else used to really get fans hyped? Masked celebrations. No, we're not talking about the Gyökeres or Dybala style, we're talking about using actual masks. We definitely want to see more of that in football these days. Remember when Aubameyang was still at Arsenal and he'd score and celebrate by putting on a mask, usually that of a Marvel or DC superhero? Yeah, that was super cool. Dominic Solanke also once celebrated with a mask of a Naruto character, while Raul Jimenez used to sometimes celebrate with a Sin Cara mask. Those were really fun times, you know. You didn't know what mask you'd get, but it was always fun when you got one out of the blue. The most recent masked celebration we've seen was when Omar Marmoush scored for Eintracht Frankfurt and wore a Halloween mask. But since the Egyptian moved to the Premier League, we haven't seen anything like that. Marmoush, Aubameyang, Solanke and Jimenez, you guys need to come together and bring masked celebrations back to football. Or, if there are any new footballers who are willing to bring those back, we also don't mind. Finally, we rarely see personalized handshakes in football these days. Years ago, players usually had their own personalized handshakes, which they did with only one teammate. Cristiano Ronaldo and Marcelo had one, Son and Dele Alli had one, Aubameyang and Lacazette had one, Pogba and Eric Bailly had one, Pogba and Lingard had a few, heck, Pogba even had one with De Gea, of all people. But these days we hardly see these handshakes in football anymore. Meanwhile, it's still a big deal in the NBA, for example. In fact, LeBron James seems to have a personalized handshake with every single one of his teammates. We thought Saka, Trossard and Zinchenko were about to bring the trend back when they did this after a goal last season, and we were really hyped, but we just never saw it again. How sad. Now, are there more really cool celebrations we rarely see in football these days? Tell us in the comments. Also tell us which of these celebrations you want footballers to bring back so badly. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye! The world's biggest tournament is coming, and the official FIFA World Cup 26 Tri-Under competition ball is here at the Goal 90 shop. Designed for the game's biggest stage, it's built for precision, speed and control. Right now, you can make it yours with 30% off plus free shipping. Don't just watch the World Cup, own a piece of it. Visit goal90.shop today and order now.